So first, if everyone could please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I'd like to formally welcome everyone to the Edward J. Taylor chapter of the National Honor Society here at Somerset Berkley Regional High School. My name is Erica Pereira, and I am the co-advisor with Mrs. SBRHS for this chapter. Tonight, we have a few acknowledgements that we'd like to begin with. First, we would like to publicly thank our custodial staff for all of their hard work in preparing this location for this event. From preparing it last night, pre-cleaning again before the event, as well as the setup of all of the chairs, bleachers, and the takedown after we leave. So I'd like to thank them with a round of applause. I would also like to thank Somerset Berkley Regional High School administration, Dr. Brailsford and Mr. Pudo, for allowing us and having the confidence in us to pull off this very special event. As we mentioned, you're the first group of students to be allowed to have a larger gathering in the building, and we really, really appreciate the time and patience that you've given us to do this, since you were also the first group that had to go through the process a little differently. Everything was changed over digitally, and we've had received many, many emails and thank yous for still being able to maintain the integrity in the process, so we really wanted to thank you as well. We'd also like to thank Mrs. Pecker, who's up in the back filming with Blue Raider Studios. This event is being live streamed, and it will also be recorded and placed on our website for everyone to view afterward. I also want to thank our students and families again for your time, dedication, and patience as we had to redesign this entire application process and move the event a little bit later in the year. So I want to thank you very much, congratulate you, and I would like to turn the microphone over now to Dr. Brailsford.
Good evening, students, and congratulations. And good evening, parents, and congratulations. You should be very proud of your students. And I know you are. I believe in my career, this is the 20th National Honor Society induction that I've been to, and 21st if you count my own. But never ever in the past 20 years have I ever been more impressed with a group of inductees than I am looking at you out there. I am so proud and pleased to be here tonight. During my career, I've always seen inductees who never missed a day of school, had straight A+, who join and are leaders in every single athletic or music event that group that they have joined. And I see those people here tonight too, but that is not why I'm impressed. The reason I'm impressed is because you went through the application process to the National Honor Society in the middle of a pandemic. In times when the easy answer would have been to slack off and use the pandemic learning as a crutch, you persevered and you fought for your education. In an online world where it would be easy to do the wrong things, not show up to class in time, put forth maybe not one's best effort on a test, you have had the academic integrity to learn for the sake of learning and do what's right. In doing this, you are the definition of scholarship. You've also turned your cameras on with Mr. Petty or Mr. Lawrence at IQ2. You sent in Padlet pictures to Senora, and you sent me almost 1,000 messages of thanks and gratitude to share with your teachers and your peers in anonymous shout-out emails to each other. You followed one-way directional hallways and acted as role models for freshmen who had no idea how to navigate the hallways of Somerset Berkley Regional High School, never mind in the middle of a pandemic. In doing this, you are the definition of leadership. In times when there was nowhere open for you to complete community service, you still found a way. You helped out your neighbors, you sent cards to the sick and the shut-in, you made blankets and masks for community members, and you helped brighten other people's days. In doing this, you are the definition of service. And I imagine that as my colleagues have been for me over the past year, you were there for each other. When the times are tough, you picked each other up and you said, keep going. You listened when your friends voiced frustration, you cared when others were down, and you relied on your family and friends when maybe you were having a bad day. And in doing so, you are the definition of character. This afternoon, I was fortunate enough to facilitate a discussion where some of your peers were asked the skills that they believe they need in order to be a successful graduate or an adult and journey to the next phase of their life, be it college, a career, or the military. And one of the responses that the students gave me was that we need patience, understanding, kindness, and perseverance. And as I look at you all sitting in front of me right now, I think that this group already gets it, and what a wonderful world we're going to have because of that. Congratulations on your induction to the National Honor Society. Continue to strive to be the best for yourselves, and continue to pick each other up and bring out the best in each other. Congratulations.
I would now like to invite Mr. Schoonover up for some words. The Superintendent of Schools, Jeffrey Schoonover. Thank you.
It is. All right. Thank you for me through the rules here. Good evening, everyone. I can't, first, I'm here as the proud superintendent, but also very proud father of one of the inductees tonight. As Dr. Brelsford was saying, how impressed she is with this group. I've known many of you from, I guess I was superintendent in Somerset when you were in 5th grade, I think. I've known many of you through other ways outside of school too. And I remember when you were coming in as freshmen, I told Mr. Petty, you are going to be incredibly impressed with this group. They are so different, they are so smart, they challenge each other, they are so impressive. And at the end of the year, he pulled me aside and said I was absolutely right. He wasn't impressed by a group like yourself in some time. But let me move on. So for tonight's inductees into the Edward J. Taylor chapter of the National Honor Society, I want to extend my congratulations to you. We recognize and honor you tonight for your multiple achievements, your academic accomplishments, your service, your character, and your leadership abilities. While your GPA is really what opened the door for you to be here this evening, it was your demonstration of your service, your integrity, and your leadership that really got you here tonight. Our goal is for all students to achieve academic excellence while becoming positive contributors to society. You embody that. You represent the mission and vision of Somerset Berkley Regional High School. We want all our students to be inquisitive, innovative, while adaptive and persevering. And through this very difficult year, you've certainly demonstrated your perseverance. I thank you for your contributions to the school community and for modeling to others what it means to be honorable. So congratulations on tonight's well-deserved achievement, and I look forward to your future accomplishments. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to call to the microphone our President of the National Honor Society, Ian Parkins.
Good evening, inductees, teachers, parents, and guardians. My name is Aidan Carpets, President of the National Honor Society, and I would like to congratulate each and every one of you on your induction to the National Honor Society. You stand here on this happy precipice of your academic career as the premier representatives of our high school. First of all, before I even begin, let's just take a second to appreciate your accomplishment. You've worked so hard over these past 3 or 4 years. You're thick and thin, you've kept dry on the prize, you've been rewarded for it. Seriously, it's not an easy thing. You ought to be proud of yourselves, each and every one of you, for your amazing accomplishment. Today, my fellow delegates, I would like to talk to you all about the value of leadership. Now, when you think of leaders, who do you think of? Probably famous politicians, leaders of successful businesses, prominent voices in your community. People that you know and listen to on a day-to-day basis. Famous historical leaders that have led our world through some of the most tumultuous times in human history. But I'm not going to give you your billionth history lecture today, ladies and gentlemen. Instead, I'd like to present a new definition of leadership. You don't have to be famous to be a leader. You don't have to be outspoken or outgoing or extroverted. You don't have to be born a leader, because everyone is born a leader. That may sound like a contradiction, but allow me to explain. Everyone is a leader in some way, shape, or form. Leadership isn't an exclusive trait. There are some people who have it and some who don't. Everyone has the ability and capability to be a leader, even if you don't know it. Yes, even if you think you're not a leader, the truth is you are. Just the fact of you working here hard to get this prestigious society is proving that you have the capability to set an example for your peers to follow. See, at least in my view, leadership isn't defined by how much you speak, what titles you have, or how much money you have. It's about 3 things: empathy, flexibility, and confidence. Now, I could go through each of these things one by one and explain how they factor into leadership. But instead, I'll use a personal experience that encapsulates what I'm talking about better than any lecture could. A few months ago, I began teaching swim lessons at the Raynham Athletic Club. And through all my hours of instruction and guidance, there's one case that really stands out to me. Most kids that come in, somewhat know how to swim, or at least they've been in the water before. In that case, my job is to provide the right next steps, or for them to become swimmers. But this one kid came in, and he had never been in the water before. He was uncomfortable. It made him super afraid. And this is where the first component of leadership comes in: empathy. I've been swimming pretty much straight out of the womb, so swimming comes naturally to me. But this kid was afraid of the water. He said it made his ears hurt, and it felt very uncomfortable. So in order to acclimate him to the water, I had to put myself in his shoes. Actually, let me revise that statement. When most people think about empathy, they think in terms of what would I do if I were them. Well, that way thinking is a good start. It doesn't fully allow you to become a great leader, because you are not them. What it should be is, what would I do if I had all of their existing motivations, thoughts, and feelings? Now, it's impossible to know how someone thinks, and that statement is a mouthful and a half, but just attempting to put yourself in their mind is so crucial in connecting with them. So I went about taking myself out of my mind and thinking about the best way to get them comfortable. So we started out slow. First, we took baby steps into the water, then we started splashing water on his head, and then we played the painting game, where we painted our heads with water. And so by the end of the first lesson, he was pretty good in the water, although he still had some discomfort submerging, but pretty good work for half an hour lesson. From there, we continued to progress onto actual swimming, once he was more comfortable with the water. And this is where I learned the second component of leadership: flexibility. See, at first I used to vigorously plan every lesson down to the most minute detail, going with a rigid plan. Now, I don't want anyone to go home and talk about how I told you to never plan or prepare, because believe me, that's not what I'm saying. What I did learn over the course of our lessons, though, is the importance of being flexible and fluid. One time, I came in with a plan to spend the entire lesson working on kicking, but he told me he wanted to try holding his breath underwater. So instead of saying no and trying to force my plan onto him, I told him that we could see how long he could hold his breath. So instead of spending all the time on kicking, we spent a good 15 minutes timing and improving his breathing. And as a result of that, he became so much more comfortable with the water. And by the end of our lessons, he was holding his breath for nearly 13 seconds, which is quite a ways from not even being able to submerge at all. So we kept progressing with our lessons. He learned how to kick his legs to stay afloat, move his arms to keep him up, and how to breathe while swimming. Over time, he grew much more comfortable with me, and lessons became more fluid. Soon, I stopped rigid planning altogether, and just came into lessons with a general idea of what I wanted to accomplish, and let things naturally progress. Soon enough, he was open enough to where lessons became more fun. So we started playing games in order to get more comfortable with the water. First, we played SpongeBob, where we would jump into the water to, among other things, visit Squidward's house, order a Krabby Patty, and then fight plankton. Then there was Tsunami, where I would grab a swimming board and imitate a shark by creating big waves. His favorite, though, at least by the end, was American Ninja Warrior, where he was always racing against this imaginary super athlete named Jim. And amazingly, he won every single time, and I still to this day bamboozled as to how he did so. As inconsequential as this might seem from the outside, these games are genuinely important. And they allowed me to build up my third component of leadership, confidence. They combine my aforementioned empathy and flexibility in order to not only improve my confidence in myself, but also his confidence in me. It gave me a way to not only improve his swimming, but also in connecting him with him as a person and as a SpongeBob / American Ninja Warrior watcher. It's that confidence that ties us all together, because in the words of the great departed Kobe Bryant, if you do not believe in yourself, no one will do it for you. So, fellow National Honor Society members, I have just one request for everyone here. You've accomplished so much already, and I want everyone to know that you are capable of making our world such a better place. There is a leader in everybody here, and I ask you all to tap into it. Try and think about the world from someone else's point of view. Be flexible and understand that life will throw you a few curveballs. Know that however much you fail in life, you will always be able to bounce back from any setback. Be the strength that your peers feed on. There will be bad days, of course, but the true leaders are the ones who will help others succeed through their worst. Thank you.
Great job. Another round of applause for Ethan. And now I'd like to call up our Vice President, Kaylee McDonald.
Hi guys, I just want to start off by saying congratulations on this amazing accomplishment. I'm so happy for you and so glad that I can be here today to share this moment with all of you. That being said, I'm not going to lie, when I found out I was going to be talking about service today, I was a little stressed. I feel like community service can get kind of a bad rap sometimes and feel like one of those annoying graduation requirements that your parents are constantly nagging you about. And trust me, I used to feel that way too. And so because of that, I'm not going to stand up here and tell you about how rewarding my 20 hours of community service was that was required, because it honestly wasn't. And it consisted of things like passing out flyers that had absolutely no meaning to me whatsoever. And that's because I went about it the completely wrong way. I viewed it as strictly something to check off my to-do list rather than what it should be, an opportunity. But my whole perspective on this changed after I had already submitted all of my hours. And so the very last thing on my mind was volunteering. But Mr. Aguiar, who's in charge of the summer programs here, reached out to me looking for school ambassadors for a new program with kids coming over from China. And this is actually terrible, but I actually said no at first, but I ended up feeling guilty, and so I kind of reluctantly agreed to do it. But at first, it was actually terrifying. This group consisted of about 40 13-year-olds, all who spoke very little English, and it was super intimidating knowing that our reactions with them would essentially create their vision of not just our school and not just our community, but as our country as a whole. And I'm also not great with like Spanish and languages like that. I'm sorry, Nora. But so picking up a whole new language in a matter of days was also another huge challenge. So we basically just volunteered to show these kids what life is like for us, and once we learned how to creatively communicate in unconventional ways, it became so much fun. And I know some people here also participated in it, and they can say it was a good time. Lauren, I'm looking at you. And the best part of it was that it didn't even feel like we were doing volunteer work, but it felt like we were just hanging out with these kids who happened to be from a different continent and speak a different language. We brought them all of our great American delicacies, and by that I mean fast food and pizza. And these kids had never actually seen a hamburger before, so watching their faces completely light up when they tasted it for the first time was one of the cutest things and my favorite part of the whole thing. And they would tease each other over their little crushes and even get some of us in on their jokes. And we ended up realizing that despite how far apart we lived, we actually had a lot in common, and our senses of humor were kind of the same too. These kids also told us about their life in school in China, where they have no recreational sports and pretty much do school all day, every day. Despite the language barrier, they still managed to express their awe over the opportunities that we have here, which gave me a whole new perspective and level of appreciation for our school community. Because prior to this experience, I had always been stuck in a bubble without even realizing it. We grow up in these small towns of Somerset and Berkley and forget that there's this whole world up there. But by directly experiencing a whole new culture and learning about the dances, foods, and experiences that make up the whole opposite side of the world and make these people who they are, it's something so truly eye-opening and life-changing. I'll never forget these kids on their last day before they left. They came up to us and they told us that they hope to come here for college one day, move here, maybe even see us again. And I can't help but hope that I was just a small part of those dreams forming. You know, service to me in the simplest form is just about taking care of other people. We don't have to cure world hunger or solve homelessness, and on the other side of things, we definitely don't have to hand out flyers for 10 hours. Trust me, handing out flyers for 10 hours is not a good time. We just have to take care of other people. And I'm not saying go to another country or find a foreign exchange program, but rather just find something you're passionate about and make it worthwhile. And I know all of you have already completed your community service, or else you wouldn't be here today. And that's why I'm sharing this story with you, because I don't want you to just view yourselves as done with service because your Aspen account says so. You may think it doesn't matter, and trust me, I did too. But by putting yourself out there and caring enough to give these kids from China a genuine experience, I learned the power of being involved in something bigger than myself and the true rewards of service. So please, I encourage you guys to not close yourself off to volunteering because you think of it as an assignment, but rather view it as an opportunity and a springboard to make an impact, learn about yourself, and just take care of each other. Thank you, and congratulations again.
Thank you again, Kayla. Next, I would like to call up our secretary, Savannah Rose.
Hi everyone, I'm Savannah Rose and I'm this year's National Honor Society Secretary. I want to start off by first congratulating you all on being inducted to the National Honor Society tonight. It is a great accomplishment and you should feel really proud of yourself. This past year has brought many unexpected obstacles, but you were able to overcome adversity and succeed. It is no doubt that your strength of character helped you reach this achievement. Character is defined as moral qualities distinctive to an individual. A person's character isn't measured at one instant in time, but along the continuum of one's life. There is an old Chinese proverb that says, "Be careful of your thoughts, for your thoughts become your words. Be careful of your words, for your words become your deeds. Be careful of your deeds, for your deeds become your habits. Be careful of your habits, for your habits become your character. And be careful of your character, for your character becomes your destiny." Our character is best determined by how we behave when no one is watching. People with strong character do the right thing, even when it may not benefit them personally. They are honest, kind, compassionate, and humble. They are reliable and trustworthy leaders who possess creativity, curiosity, and the love of learning. Finally, people who possess strong character are driven, tenacious, and they are resilient. When thinking about someone who exhibits strength of character, my friend Kyle comes to mind. As you probably know, Kyle fought a courageous battle with cancer for 2 years before she passed away last March. Prior to becoming sick, Kyle was known for her friendly spirit and her bright smile. Her truly contagious, and it could light up anyone. Kyla was a caring and trustworthy friend who loved to make others laugh. She was always willing to lend a helping hand and would always lift others up. Kyla was a dedicated athlete and a team player. She was supportive of her teammates and humble in her individual accomplishments. Kyla was curious, creative, and always eager to learn. After her diagnosis, she began aggressive treatments, which made her very ill, but she made it a goal to attend school whenever she could. Even when she couldn't be in school, she kept up with her studies and was inducted into the National Honor Society last January. While undergoing treatments, Kyla's spirit never wavered. Her tenacity and positive mindset gave her the strength to keep on fighting. Having to watch Kyla go through this not only proved how resilient she was, it allowed me to see the true strength of her character. The way she faced her challenges with such determination and grace showed me that although you cannot control what happens to you, you can control how you react to it and how you choose to move forward. Your decisions ultimately determine your character. Kyla has inspired me to be better, and I hope she has inspired you as well. In the words of Helen Keller, character cannot be developed in quiet. Only through experience and trial and suffering can the soul be strengthened, ambition inspired, and success achieved. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Savannah. And next we have our treasurer, Julia Caniel.
Good evening, teachers, friends, family, and most importantly, this year's National Honor Society inductees. Tonight I will be speaking to you about scholarship. And no, scholarship isn't the money some of you will or are applying for college. All of you have worked hard and have some semblance of scholarship. But scholarship is something more than just school. It is the time you put in, the gains you receive, and the ability to be successful in your pursuits in and out of high school. A person with scholarship hungers for knowledge and strives to do their best in everything they do. Scholarship is something you must put time into, and clearly we all have to sit down and study every once in a while. Scholarship is not getting perfect grades. It's about challenging yourself to do your best. It's about striving to do new things and make us each turn want to change the world around us. One of the greatest cosmologists of modern times, Stephen Hawking, shared his love for knowledge and forged his own path in history. Hawking's father wanted him to become a doctor, but instead he chose to study cosmology. Imagine if he had become a doctor, the mystery of the black hole would have most likely remained just that, a mystery in space. It was Stephen Hawking's hunger for knowledge that led him to pursue the nothingness in our solar system and discover so much. It was a hunger for more than what met the eye that led to one of the greatest cosmic discoveries of the 20th century. Stephen Hawking, as many people know, was also diagnosed with ALS at the young age of 21. The life expectancy for someone with ALS is only 2 to 5 years. Instead, Hawking beat the odds and lived to the age of 75. Stephen Hawking possessed scholarship, and this is one of the reasons he was so successful in his pursuit in the realm of space medicine. Instead of giving up after his diagnosis, Hawking grew stronger in his research. He chose to pursue knowledge instead of giving up. Now, I'm not saying that you have to discover how black holes work, nor do you have to study cosmology at any point in your life. Stephen Hawking's story shows the power of scholarship. A man with only years to live decides to discover the nothingness in our universe and defies the odds of living an additional 54 years. Hawking put in the time, learned his material, and discovered something that spun space discoveries back into action. Just like all of us, Hawking strove to challenge himself. All of you here have taken honors or AP classes and know the rigorous challenges these courses pose. You don't have to become a world-renowned scientist, and you don't have to become a doctor. Scholarship is the pursuit of the things we love and the drive to dive further into them. As Ralph Waldo Emerson once said,
here to take your photo. If you don't mind just coming up and speaking with us. So our officers will receive an additional insignia to wear on graduation day. And of course, I'd like to thank them again. We know how difficult it is to have to do a speech in front of your peers, and so many times they've included personal events, obviously, and I think that always makes the speeches very special. So I thank them, and I appreciate all the work they've done for us this year, and I hope you enjoyed their speeches this evening. I know, it's a weird rule. I can't hand them things. I just have to put it on the table. As we keep saying, you don't have to understand that all rules. So next, we're going to start with, or I should say, we're going to start with the first row that will be coming up to receive their certificates. Before you do so, I just want to remind everyone that there's one part of the ceremony that I just have to talk about that's not fun. But tonight, you obviously are being inducted into National Honor Society, and you are now role models for other students in our lower grades that would eventually like to become part of this group and organization. With that said, please understand that you must uphold the 4 pillars of scholarship, leadership, service, and character. That means that throughout the rest of the year and beginning in the fall, we would have to make sure that everyone has met all of the requirements, and unfortunately there have been times when we've had to ask people to leave the membership. So we always like to do this night, one, because we want everyone to hear the same message, and also just to remind you again how important and how privileged you should feel to be part of this group. We're all very proud of you. And then I'd just like to remind you that after this event, you will have a wonderful email from us with your first task as a group. So be on the lookout for that email, and we look forward to your participation as our first project. So Ariana, you're going to start. So the first row, if you would stand up, you're going to come around, and you could just keep distance between each person. You're going to, when I call your name, you're going to walk across the front, you're going to grab your folder, and then come right back to your row, and then the second row will stand up as a group and follow suit. Okay? Ready? They're just going to move so that way you have a little bit more to socially distance. Thank you. Ariana Ahern. Liam Anderson. Colton Baptiste. Tyler Barrows. Kyle Belanger. The next one, Gavin Borges. Abigail Patello, Elena Cabral, Olivia Charest, Alex Costa, Nathan Costa, Morgan Kuja. Drew Crook, Madison Dennis, Jacob Dorigo, Sydney Dufresne, Cassandra Ema, Caroline Field, Corinne Fisher, Julia Foley. It'd probably be easier if you're in the next row and you see that the last person's ready to be called, and that row can get up. That might be a little bit for you. Madison Frank. Abigail Wojcicki. Lillian Gentile. Catherine Hindus. Camden Huff. Richard King, Allison Coates, Nicole Ledwidge, Dylan Look, Ethan Look, Amber Martin, Emily McKenna, Adrian Harris, Chloe Mullins, Aiden Montag, Eliana Nezrala, Connor Nelson, Erin O'Donovan, Abigail Paul, Riley Petrin, Sophia Puccini, Julia Rappel, Matthew Roush, Claire Romano, Lauren Rockwell, Mia Russ, Jack Schoonover, Kiri Setzer, Abigail Shea, Mackenzie Shea, that's okay. Sean Simmons, Lily St. Pierre, Jace Gerber, Joseph Viveras, Julia Viveras, so in your folder, you will see the pledge, so you can get ready and let everyone get back to their seats. So if the members could please stand. I'm gonna start it, but you're gonna finish, okay? Like, you're gonna take it with me. I pledge Thank you and congratulations. Thank you very much. That concludes our ceremony. I'm very sorry, unfortunately, that we're not able to have refreshments due to regulations. Maybe one day in the future we can have a socially distant event outside and you can come back and visit us.